How do you handle it when a woman doesn't respond to your text? Should you follow up with another text, call her out for not responding, or forget about her and move on? That's what we'll discuss in this video. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and I know it's a terrible feeling. You're flirting with a girl you've just met. Maybe you're just communicating through regular text messages or maybe through a dating service like Tinder or OkCupid or Bumble. Then you send a message and it goes unanswered. At this point, a lot of guys would just say, move on. Don't bother trying to get a hold of her again. Just move on. There's other girls. Which, to be fair, isn't terrible advice. If one of your friends offers up that as a solution, he's just basically telling you not to get played out, not to get strung up or hung out on some girl who's flat out not interested. The guy only has your best interest in mind, but is it always the correct advice? I would submit that just because a girl doesn't respond to your last message doesn't mean that you no longer have a chance with her and that the entire thing is unsalvageable. This is especially true in cases when you've had some great rapport and she seemed reasonably interested and then she just, dropped the conversation seemingly for no reason at all. Sure, some cases are more suspect than others. For example, if the last text you sent was one asking her out on a date, that's not a great sign in your favor if she doesn't respond. But there are two things that you need to realize and accept in these circumstances. The first thing is the woman on the other end of your cell phone. She's a living, breathing person with a life and many messages being slung her way every minute of the day. So it's more than reasonable to believe that your message might have gotten lost in the mix. If she's a single girl, she's getting dozens of messages from dozens of people, right? In fact, one of the things that I constantly tell my clients is that timing is everything. But now, second off, number two is you have absolutely nothing to lose ever by taking a shot, especially at this point. The only thing that will guarantee that you never go out on a date with this girl is giving up. You have everything to gain by reaching out again. Remember, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So if you make the decision to reach out in order to salvage things, right? Save your chances there. What are the rules in doing so? How do you do it? Let's go through a few. First, wait a while. Obviously, a day or two has to go by before you can safely confirm that your message was even not responded to, right? You don't want to follow up and 30 minutes later. Normally, the 3-day rule is crap, and I usually say throw it out the window. But in this circumstance, you actually want to wait 2 to 3 days or so. You want to make sure she really isn't going to reply, excluding weekends. So if you text her on a Friday and she doesn't get back to you, you'd be messaging her on a Tuesday at the earliest. More important than the length of time that you wait is when you choose to send the message. So let me explain. This is why weekends are off limits. They create a greater sense of desperation on your part, right? Chances are that she's out, she's with friends, she's doing something fun, and when she gets your message, it makes it seem like whatever you're doing must not be too fun if you're hitting her up, right? If she's getting a message from you on a Saturday night. Tuesday through Thursday works best, especially in the middle of the day. There's a form of spontaneity and surprise to your message, making it and you unique, right, and more valuable. I used to personally love sending the 3 p.m. message, almost like it just popped into my head to hit her up. Unlike, the 5 p.m. message where I've been staring at my phone waiting for you to get off from work just to send this message, and it comes across. Okay, next. Second off is you got to make it exciting. When you do reach out, do not ever seem hurt, offended, or vulnerable about her lack of correspondence. Yes, her not getting back to you is the elephant in the room. And you can mention it in some way. In fact, we're about to have some fun with that in just a second. I'm going to give you some examples. But what you want to avoid are boring, needy sounding phrases like, hey, where did you go? Or, hey, what happened? You still alive? Instead, you want to keep your tone playful, flirty, and upbeat. You can bring up out of the blue an inside joke and play it like the opening text, right? You can even have a little fun with it, as I mentioned before. Agent Wasp, this is Mission Control checking in. What is the status of Operation Beehive? Fun little text. I actually picked this one up off a guy, Chris, who used to write articles for me a while back. His logic was women like it when you call them spies. And fair enough, it makes sense. And it definitely worked for clients and friends more than a few times. Or you can say something like, if you've been taken, let me know. I've been dying to go all Liam Neeson on somebody. Another fun text, right? You're just being playful. Am I dead? Please tell me you can talk to dead people. LOL. Stupid, but fun and upbeat. Please tell me you just went on an epic Vegas bender. Again, fun and upbeat. Darling, if we don't learn to communicate, I think we're going to need a marriage counselor. This one is a little bit more playful, a little bit more role-playing. And a true story, a client of mine actually used that last one on his current girlfriend before their first date when she didn't get back to him for 2 days. When he met, they instantly, they had played out this whole let's go get married right now fantasy. And he had kept it as an inside joke. So when she didn't respond for the first time, we came up with the whole marriage counselor gag as a way to reach back out to her. She had stood him up on 2 dates before, and when she didn't respond, the last text he had sent was asking her out a 3rd time. So needless to say, it looked like he was pretty dead in the water. I mean, his odds at that point, this is why I say it's always worth taking a chance, because he sent the text anyway. When she stopped responding, and later on she goes, I had taken off on a camping trip with some girlfriends, and she was out, she sent them pictures of the trip to show that she really was on a trip. And after he sent that text, he finally went out on their first date, and they've been together since. So that's why I say you always take a shot. Remember, it never hurts to take a chance. Now, like I said, the key is something my friend Rob Judge and I call playful persistence. It requires you to be able to send messages that are playful, engaging, and remind her how much she likes you. Right? Because if she hasn't seen you, she's not responding to you, you got to remind her. Rob Judge is the absolute master at this. I'm actually astonished at how his brain works and how he's able to craft these type of messages and teach them to our clients. A lot of times I'll be coaching a guy and I'll be, Rob, give me a text, and he'll give me something and it'll just blow my mind. If it doesn't come naturally to you, I totally get it. That's why I talk Rob into packaging up all his best texts, his testing techniques, and how he thinks about messages that he's about to send. He calls it magnetic messaging. And at the link below, you can download a copy of it. Now, I have clients who steal his exact messages, and a lot of other clients who model them for their own personality. They kind of make them their own. Either way, this type of texting will salvage girls that might have thought, you lost them by allowing you to be playfully persistent and taking advantage of timing. So download it at the link below. I will say this, I mentioned timing earlier. Timing is extremely important nowadays because girls are getting bombarded by messages. So sometimes even if she had a good time with you, the timing is off, right? Maybe an ex-boyfriend pops back into the picture on Facebook, or maybe some guy on Tinder that she had slept with, all of a sudden he's hitting her up, and girls get confused, right? A lot of girls don't want to juggle a lot of guys, so sometimes they kind of get in that deer in headlights where they don't know what to do. I don't want to respond to him because I'm still talking to him, so they don't respond to you, but then a few days later, they're like, oh yeah, and then they get your message, and you're like, oh, especially if it's the type of messages we're talking about. They're like, oh yeah, he was cool, he was fun, let me go meet up with him. So you always want to be playfully persistent. Remember, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below. Tell me what you'd like to see me cover in future videos.